Welcome to Idaho. I wanted to say Boise, but technically I'm not in Boise right now. I think I could stretch my legs. I talked about it earlier in another video that I've gotten a lot of flexibility back, but I'll probably always have to like stretch for a while before I reach that point. I won't be in a state of flexibility 24/7. It'll always just be, you got to stretch for like 10 minutes to get there. Anyway, got my high-tech notepad here. My camera is my phone, so I can never really use it for, a notepad or things like that. Sometimes I need my camera as a camera to take pictures of my phone, like, if that makes sense. Or anyway, yeah, makes me wish I still had a spare. Like, if I had the 13, but I sold it. That's just ridiculous to have a $500 spare camera. Sell it, get the money for it. Speaking of which, if the 17 this year, yeah, if that comes out, who knows? Maybe it'll have something good on. I really should wait another year, but if there's a must-have feature, then I'll have to consider it. But aside from a better camera, I don't know if they're really going to have anything that I want. Yeah, working backwards, just finished. It's about 1 o'clock. Well, I guess 12 back home. Maybe later. Maybe 2, actually. Might be 2, but then 1 back home. Yeah, I watched a movie, Robert the Bruce, or some version of it, of his story, and really well. I mean, it was like a movie, not a documentary, and it's really well done. It makes me very curious to know more about it, to actually buy a book on the Scott and learn more about the history. Because like I don't really go before, most of my knowledge kind of starts around 1500. So yeah, the 16th century. So this is like going way back to like the 14th century, way back. So it's interesting. Funny because, at a certain, like a lot of our history, there have been developments, but they're like swaths, like hundreds and hundreds of years of very little change. So from like 900 to 1300, 400 years of really not that much change as far as like, warfare. Yeah, before, I mean, the next big change would be cannons, or, cannons and guns and stuff like that. But they didn't have that. So still swords and cavalry and archers and spears. I call it spears, things like that. So good movie. Yeah, well done. I was thinking it could be a series, but then you're watching. I thought, there's no way, because the expense of hiring all these people to be on the horses, and every week. I know Outlander kind of did it, but it just looked like the filming expense, especially for these big battles. There's no way you could hire this many people like week after week. Just set up camp, get the shooting done, hire your extras and all your equine, whatever the people are called that work with horses, cavaliers. I don't know. Whoever run, the horse wranglers. I guess maybe it is horse wrangler or just cowboys. I don't know if they call them cowboys, because I assumed it was filmed. I would think it's filmed in Scotland. I don't know. What else? Yeah. So the airport. It's kind of nice flying into a quiet airport. Boise Airport. It's a nice airport. It's just really, clean and gets it functional. And there's some nice things about it. If you ever flown here, then you know. But going back from that, the flight itself was nice. It was very pleasant, very fast. I got tea and water, no booze. Boy, it's weird to think that it's been like 3 months. All my flights in 3 months have not had alcohol at all. Just crazy that it used to be I would get like 1 or 2 drinks every single flight, if not more. So that's changed quite a bit. I was asked if I could have wine because I'm on vacation. It's like, no, not yet. Not yet. Not now. But yeah, good flight. And no meal, too short. So too short, coming straight from Oakland. No meal, but that's fine. The lady sat next to me in first class, but she had a swath, I don't know what the swaddle, and a baby, and not even 1 year old, I would say. I don't know, 6 to 8 months or something. I mean, it was pretty, maybe close, maybe 8 to 10 months. Anyway, just a very, and I thought, oh, you know, I wonder if I'm kind of crying. I mean, I have my noise canceling earbuds, it doesn't matter. But the baby is really cute. I mean, it was like fascinated with me though. I think it just, I don't know, maybe the glasses or just the haircut or just, you know, another person, a new person. But the baby was fascinated, and I was like, kind of like, you know, smile and wave a tiny bit, but you just kind of want to like shake the hand, you know, just kind of like, yeah, play with the baby. It's like, hey, you can't, it's not your baby. And it's like, no, don't. But I just felt like the poor baby's like fascinated. It's like, I can't, you know, can't like say, hey, baby, like just, you know, grab his little arm, hello. But it's cool. And the baby didn't really cry at all, a tiny bit towards the end, but it was really well behaved. She was prepared. She had a whole bottle ready for the baby. I think the baby's like drank the entire bottle. I think, dang, that baby has like a bigger stomach than I do. I guess so. Yeah, so Seattle Airport, besides the delays, I did not like the delays, the airline. I mean, I don't like not being notified. I don't mind the delays. They happen. Just hate not being notified. And they weren't too bad. I mean, at least half the delay was before getting on the plane. The other half was being on the plane and just sitting on the tarmac for like 25 minutes. That part's not fun. Actually, well, it was at the gate, so at least... I guess it doesn't make any difference. Like, you're at the gate, you're on the tarmac, you're on the runway. What difference does it make? You're still on the plane. And then getting to the airport, I guess, yeah, I mean, I'd say 15 minutes before flight time, but the flight was delayed, so it didn't really matter. So it ended up being probably an hour and a half before flight time, or maybe, I wouldn't say an hour or 45 minutes for actual takeoff. It was definitely plenty of time, but I took the train, or I took Uber to get to the airport, or the train station, and then as we were pulling up, and I don't really time my Uber rides, you really can't, because you don't know when the driver's going to pull up, but I don't really time them for the trains, because the trains are really like 10 minutes apart, 10 to 12 minutes, so it's like, there's no real point, and they could be late, whatever, so I don't bother, you know, if I miss one, I take it, but we pulled up, and I saw the train. I mean, it was impossible at that point, it was already moving. But it was just like, oh, shoot, I just missed it by that much. Although, on the other hand, you know, it was nice to be able to relax and not worry about the next train. So I was getting a little concerned about time because, you know, I was planning to get to the airport an hour earlier, a little more than that. And, yeah, with the train being kind of, I had to catch the next one. So that's what kind of got me a little delayed. However, this late at night, I mean, there was like nobody really, it seemed like, going to the airport, like hardly anybody. And security was not one person in front of me. I mean, I went in line and the person was open, and then even got through that and the belt was open. So the weight and the belt, I'm like, dang, that's just the thing is, fly late at night or very like first thing in the morning, although night is probably even better than the morning. But there aren't that many flights, you know, that late at night anyway. Yeah, unless it's an overnight. If it's a red eye, then sure. So anyway, anything else? Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's the only the thing about traveling, that my least favorite part, of course, is airports. Getting to the airport, because either it's like I'm paying a lot of money for Uber or Lyft, whatever, or I'm spending a lot of time on a train. It's not like it's a horrid experience. It's just kind of, it's a lot of time. It's kind of boring, but I think driving is probably one of my favorite things, driving and parking at the airport. Yeah, it's funny because I used to, like when I flew out and parked at especially in Oakland and San Francisco, when I flew out, then it was like, okay, I can't drink before getting on the road, but I can have a drink once I reach the airport, and then at the airport, rarely, but yeah, on the plane and stuff like that. But coming home, I couldn't have anything to drink because I had to get my car and drive. So that was like the flight home. Maybe if it's a long flight, kind of one before, like at the early part of the flight, you know, one drink at the very beginning. And then I didn't like to drink anymore. But now it's like, if you're not drinking at all, it doesn't make a difference, you know, what's going on. In fact, now it's kind of good because I end up usually driving when I get here. I drive the car home, so my parents don't have to drive. So that works, but a lot has changed. And if someone says, oh, how long are you going to do this? How long no drinking? Don't know. But I would say there's a 50-50 chance I would probably never have another drink. 50-50. I won't say more than that. I won't say less than that. It's just like almost like a flip of a coin. Just weird to think about. I haven't really thought that far through. So that's why I just say 50-50. It just easily could happen where I just have a drink next week, or easily could happen where that was it. March 12th was the last day for the rest of my life. We shall see. Yeah. So yeah, the whole thing about airports and anxiety, it's like I don't like to introduce stress where it's not necessary. It's like, why add stress if you don't need to? You know, stress ages people. So, but if I get, and being, you know, worrying about my flight time and the train delays or being stopped on the tracks or like, you know, stop at a station too long. It's like, why aren't we, even before the train started moving, it was like, why is it taking so long? Come on, let's get this train. So that's kind of anxiety, not really stress, but anxiety. But on the other hand, if I get to the airport too early, then I'm sitting there. I can't use up my lounge pass because I only got one left. So then it's like, what am I supposed to do? I was like, yeah, I don't really have a book right now. And I don't like to watch things. I do sometimes, but I prefer not to watch movies and shows on my phone just because it's just not as enjoyable. I was thinking maybe eventually we'll get with it VR to a point where it's just so light and comfortable I can bring it with me on travel. I mean, I have my Quest, but not, you know, it's rare. But then we can put it on and just watch a movie in a like a dark movie theater experience with your headset on and be able to enjoy it. You know, the only headset that really is kind of affordable, not really, but is the Apple Vision Pro, because I guess that has just got a spectacular viewing. However, I'm not spending $3,500 for something I would hardly ever use. Anyway, so yeah, tomorrow will be some playing games and hanging out and seeing other family members. And then Monday will be waterfall. And I did bring my drone this time. I left the 360 camera. I think I'm not going to use that much anymore. I'm not going to get rid of it, but I don't think, I just find I'm not really using it, or I take the photos, but put it once on Facebook and then they just go into the archives the rest of my life. So it's like, is there really need to carry that extra weight? I don't think so. All right, that's been it. I should be able to rest okay. And then we'll start another day of fun and adventure in Idaho. Idaho what? Idaho.